You want to know one of my favorite things about my best friend? It's because he can't always talk. And one of those things is he cannot at all say the name of this game.
The Guild of Something Explorers.
See, told you. Cannot say it. Hello!
Welcome to Bad at Board Games.
Well, he's bad at board games.
I'm Brad Lake.
I'm Toph Ferguson.
And we're bad at board games, so you don't have to be. Today we're going to be talking about
The Guild of Merchants Explorers. Actually, I think I screwed that one up. Talked about you messing it up all the time. The Guild of Merchant Explorers.
What did you say? I thought this was Merchants.
The Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Merchant.
How would you say the name of that without reading the box?
It is the Guild. I call it of Explorers. Something.
He can't say it.
Just
He
get
can't
the
say
brown
it.
box.
I
That's
love it.
that one.
I love it.
Stick around. We've got 6 points coming up that you're going to want to hear about. Would you like to buy this game or not? Is it for you or not? And then at the end, we even tell you what our rating is. Skip to that if you want. Timestamps down below.
We hope you stick around, though.
Yeah, we really like it when we talk to you.
Yeah. So, Guild of Merchants Explorers is a exploration game. The Queen is sending us out. Unfortunately, the land is, well, it hasn't been explored for a while, and the maps are outdated. And so it is our job as explorers to be able to go out and recreate our maps, connecting our cities, discovering new villages, traveling across water and mountains and grassland to try to establish our trading routes, explore some towers, and ultimately gain a lot of money. It's a fun, quick-playing game, relatively quick-playing game, designed by Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert. It is published by AEG. Fun little game.
It is. And the appearance is boring as sin. You get to be explorers with the little cubes. Look at that. Look at this amazing miniature pushing it around cubes and stuff. But that doesn't take away from the game at all.
Y'all don't listen to him. Brad likes bright and shiny things and boxes that you can open.
Ooh, look at that box. It's nice and brown. It's got all the shades of brown that you may want. Brown sails. Here we go. And it's got multiple maps of brown. A little bit of blue. A little bit of... That's still brown. It's like a brownish rust brown. And almost a bluish brown. It is the brownish side of blue.
How more can you beat into the, ground that you don't like?
Greenish color blue. I actually like it. I'm going to give it a hard time, but I actually do like the way it looks. It's fine. It's got this old map looking feel, and that's what they're going for. So I do enjoy it. I'm going to give it a hard time for not being this splashy, awesome looking thing. It works for this game. It works for the period of how they're trying to portray it, and that you are creating a map, and it looks like an old, faded kind of map.
Yeah. So, really is. So this is a game, as you can probably tell if you're looking closely at this or if you watch the playthrough, it's a hexagonal map. And so you are actually route building throughout this game. One of the things I like is that you have set movement points, and that is going to be predetermined by cards that you are drawing. So you don't just get to explore whatever you want, wherever you want. You are actually going to have the route kind of given to you in terms of movement points. And so that's going to be through card drawing. So you are actually got a little bit of a mechanic of shuffling cards and pulling out, not really drafting, but pulling out new opportunities for where you're going to go next. Changes every game, and I do like that a lot. The big thing with this is going to be creating the trade routes. You want to be able to collect as many coins as possible, so you are trying to be strategic in how you develop your routes to be able to collect coins. And then the coins themselves, kind of another fun mechanic to this game, the coins themselves are hidden. And so hidden victory points is always fun because you think you're doing pretty well. And if you watch your playthrough, you will find out that I completely destroyed Brad when we flipped over all those coins. So basic mechanics, not overly difficult, a little bit of goal setting, a lot of exploration.
So my positives with this, I got this at Gen Con's kind of, and I think I talked about this. This was not on my top games to get at Gen Con. It's brother, sister from AEG at that time. Wormholes was 5-player game, 4-player game. When I went to get this, found out this was a simultaneous play. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get that. It's one of the things that I like a lot. So that's definitely one of my positives. Anytime you can play simultaneously, it means the game's going to go faster. People aren't getting bored waiting for somebody else to come out. That's like a huge positive for any game that I like. And then just playing the game, what I liked about it is you've got these cards sitting up here and they never change. You're going to have that round after round after round. And so you know what's coming up. You may not know in which order it's going to happen. And so you're trying to rack your brain around this limited number of hexes that you're going to be able to put the cubes out with to try to get, discover towers, put out villages, go for the victory goal, whatever objective at the end of the game. So you're like, all these things kind of like rack your brain, and then the cards never come out in the order you want, and then you're kind of having to deal with that. So those are my positives. What about you, Toph?
One of my big positives is the look of the game. I actually love the look of this game. I love the fact that they did not go with primary colors. I love that you've got this kind of tealy blue, you've got this maroon color, you've got a kind of a mustard yellowish color, and then not black, it's a charcoal color. And so it's not your standard colors that you see in every other game that we always pull up to the table. That's one thing. The maps, everything looks beautiful with it. In terms of gameplay, one of the things I like about it is there's multiple things going on, but it's not a difficult game. And so you can introduce this and play it from a gamer perspective and say, you know what, there are objectives that we can play towards. There are treasures that we can explore. We can explore ruins as we go throughout this game. I'm going to go for those and try to get as many points from that as possible. Or you could introduce this to a new player and just say, focus on exploring your paths, and that's it. And you probably, honestly, wouldn't come out too far different in points. That's one of the things I like about it. It's not an overly complex game, but there's a lot of gameplay and enjoyment in the gameplay.
And he allowed me to think a little bit more while he was talking. There's two other positives that I like. Not two. There are multiple maps. And normally I would say, a lot of times when they give you multiple things, it's like, it's still samey. This does not feel samey. These maps feel different. They are harder. They are crunchier. They are, really change things up about how you get money, how you do these things. And then you have 3 ages, kind of like the Civ games that you like, right? And in each age, you're going to get kind of one of these special movement cards or special placement cards. And there's so many, like we just had some come up that I hadn't seen yet.
Yep.
And that variety, it really keeps it interesting and wanting to play it again. And like, you don't feel like it's the same game and it gets samey. So that's another aspect. Normally when they just throw extra stuff in there, you're like, it doesn't work. Or I still am as bored with those. If I'm bored with the game, those don't make it better. Or if I like the game, those didn't make it feel any different. This is different.
Yeah, they did that well. They did that well. Yeah.
So, how about your negatives?
And I don't want to necessarily say this is negative because it's the design of the game, but movement is difficult. And I want to do everything. I want to complete all these objectives, and you just cannot do that. And that's frustrating. I think it's also occasionally an opportunity for AP in that because you have such limited movement, because you are dictated by exactly what cards are going to be out here, you know what they are, but they're coming at probably the worst time for a card to be able to pop up for you. That means that all of a sudden you're saying, well, I can fill two desert tiles. They don't have to be touching, they just have to touch my routes. And then you're sitting there and you're thinking, what's going to be the best? And that can pull a little bit of AP into it. It's not that it's complicated, but it is going to pull up a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Also, the coins, I'm going to argue about this. I like the fact that the coins are hidden. I really do. I like the fact that nobody else knows how many coins each other has. You can't keep up with that because it's simultaneous play. However, all of a sudden you'll have all these coins over here. They're all flipped upside down, and you can't find another 1, 5, or 10 that's in the stack. And then you've got to game it, flip over all these coins to match up all your ones to trade them in. You're constantly doing that. That annoys me. I don't like that.
I'm trying to think what I don't like about it. I played the solo. I didn't care for it. So that I guess that's my biggest negative of this game. The solo is really just see how many points you can get. And to win the solo, you need to complete so many in-game objectives, otherwise you don't win. And then how many points you got says you did good or you did great, or it wasn't compelling. I like the competitive, even though I'm just trying to compete against myself. I know I've got Toph over here pulling coins and things like that, and it's going to be variable. And am I outthinking him, or am I planning doing better than him? And we've had a night probably 50-50. He wins 50%, I win, and it makes it fun. But solo play, you want to play it. You may enjoy it, but you're not going to be compelled like you would when you have just one other person sitting there playing with you. I would rather play Marvel Champions where I'm like, I might lose or something's weird going to happen. You've got a lot of solo games that you get ingrained into it. You're not having any of that with this.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but I don't know if I really want to based on that. Not because you don't like it, but because I agree. I don't just want to go for a score.
Right.
I want an objective. I want to do something with my game. Yeah.
Or the game fight back.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think is kind of a positive with this game is the weight of the game. This is not an overly complex game. This is currently rated on BGG as 2.14 out of 5. I think that's a little low. I think there's a lot more going on in the game that would probably bump that up just a little bit, but we're not talking about even a 2.5. We're not talking about a 2.5 or higher game. This is a lower weight game with good replayability, and I think it's close to accurate. I would probably put it somewhere around a 2.3 if I was rating it myself. But BGG is saying about 2.14, so take that for what it is. The ratings are kind of user generated anyways. So Brad, what do you think the value of the game is?
So on my value rating, if this game cost $100, I would say don't buy it, and it's a value of 1. If this game costs $10, I would say the value is a 5, and go get it. It's just such a a great value for the experience you're having. Right now, you can get this. I paid full price at Gen Con because that's just what you do for getting it a little bit before everybody else on Amazon, and not sure about your local friendly gaming store, but it's $39. So for me, with this experience at $39, this is like a 4.5. This is probably as close. Like if this were $30, it'd be a 5. But I try to be a little bit conservative on this, but if you watch our playthrough, if this is something that interests you where you're just kind of enjoying that mental puzzle, for me, this is a 4.5 at $39. Bar none. Easy.
Yeah. I think even having you having paid full price for it, I feel like with the plays that we've had of it, we've gotten that value out of it already.
Yeah, I would even say, I paid $55, I think, at Gen Con, and it's still a 4. I'm just trying to I almost want to give it a 5. That's, talking about it, but I'm going to stick to 4.5.
For $40, I didn't realize it was going for $40. For $40, there's a lot of good components. I mean, you've got linen finished mats, you've got okay cards, but you actually have wooden pieces and great replayability. Yeah, it's a good game.
So what is your BGG rating, Toph? A 5, a 1, 2?
Yes, it's a 2. No. So for me, taking into consideration what all's going in this game, I am actually easily giving this an 8. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And for a low weight game, I consider it a low weight game. Some low weight games get samey and I don't want to play them over and over again. I would never think to give it an 8. I love this. I really do. I really enjoy this game a lot. And so, yeah, for me, it's a solid 8. What about you?
I'm having a hard time giving it an 8, but I like it.
You don't have to give it an 8.
No, but I do like it. I
mean, a 7 is a good rating.
Well, it's not. It's better than a 7.
Okay.
I think that's what. So I'm at least at a 7.5. So I'm going to say 7.5 because I like it. I want to play it again. It has a lot of components in it that I like, and I guarantee you, if this was a 5-player game, I'd give it an 8 because then we could play it with our game group.
Yeah,
like there's those little things, but I enjoy the game. Absolutely, for me, it's a 7.5. With the caveat, for you have to like a Euro-ish thing going on.
Yeah,
you really do. But if you like that, you're gonna like the noodliness of this game.
Yeah,
because I take that and I like all these other, and this is a solitaire game, and I like those too.
Yeah, the most that you would have in player interaction is with gaining your objectives, because the first person to complete an objective gets 10 points, and then everybody else who completes it would get only 5. Yep. So you are kind of racing to those, but that's about it. That's about it. Other than we like to pick on each other when the absolute worst card for movement comes out. Especially better when it's good for me and it's bad for him.
Or we yell at the game.
Yeah, that happens a few times. Watch the playthrough. You'll probably see it. So
why? Why did this happen? So comment down below. Did you watch the playthrough? What do you think of this? Is this something that interests you or not? Do you have other games that you have that maybe solitaire, multiplayer solitaire, but like everybody kind of enjoys going through it? You're not sitting there all quiet and not talking, but everybody moans together when something happens, right? So that's kind of the thing that's going on. That like everybody like or somebody's gonna be like, oh great, and then somebody else is gonna be like, oh I hate that card.
I just needed it to come out one time later.
Let us know. Let us know.
Yes. Like the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we would love to have you join us for the upcoming videos. So subscribe to the channel. Let others know about what we're doing here with the games. If these are things you want to play, definitely share them. We are so glad you guys have joined us for this video today.
So whatever you're doing, playing solo with family or friends,
enjoy whatever games you are bringing to the table.
Have a good night.
Bye.